This podcast is brought to you by Legend Comics and Coffee in Omaha, Nebraska, located in scenic downtown Benson. They got a new location. It's absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. And by listeners like you. Go to Patreon/Two-Headed Nerd. Become a patron. Support this show.
Once, they were two best friends managing a comic book store. But when an innocent blood oath went wrong, the two found themselves trapped in the same body, imprisoned in a strange pyramid made of long boxes, buried deep below their hometown, where they are doomed to discuss comic books until the end of time. They were once Joe and Matt. Now they are known as the Two-Headed Nerd. And this is their podcast.
Broadcasting from the Ziggurat at Omaha in caverns deep below the metro area, where we've perfected our Kraven the Hunter cosplay in preparation for Marvel's biggest movie premiere of this year. It is
technically correct.
It's true. It's our pleasure to welcome you to episode 762 of the Two-Headed Nerd comic book podcast. The hardest part was getting the eyeliner down. His eyeliner game is incredible. Have you seen that, man? I'm your head number one. My name is Matt Block.
I'm the internet's Joe Patrick, your head number two, and this rhino costume smells terrible.
Can you imagine what his actual costume smells like? Ugh. Can't shower in this thing. It's like a full-time cast.
I get it. It's time for another new comic show where we'll review 8 new comics from the last 2 weeks. After that, we'll set you up with our must-read new comic picks for next week.
Finally, you get a taste of our Patreon Extra, where we are discussing the biggest 2 comic book hero beatdowns of all time. It's Batman 497 versus Superman 75 to decide who had the best or worst beatdown, depending on how you look at it. But now... The most beatdown. But now, get into your horse stance and prepare to be attacked by every hero in the DCU, Two-Face, Attorney-at-Law, Kid Angels, and Demons, and a heroic Ultron. It is review time in the Ziggurat!
Before the two-headed judge takes the bench, let's lay down the rules of the courtroom. Each comic will be rated using our 3-point scale of buy it, skim it, or leave it, and in the end, we pick the best comic from this pile to add to our THN permanent collection.
All the rest go to jail. Straight to jail.
Our AI Macho posts our written reviews on twoheadednerd.com for the jury's convenience, but you're tuned in to hear the full prosecution. Macho, exhibit number 1, if you please.
As you wish, honorable judges Joe and Matt. And now for new comic reviews from the week of Wednesday, November 27th.
We begin with West Coast Avengers, number 1 from Marvel. It's written by Jerry Duggan, art by Danny Kim, colors by Arthur Hesley. I'm going to go with Hesley. Letters by VC's Joe Caramanga, and main cover by Ben Harvey. It's a great painted cover, by the way.
Pretty good cover.
This is hot. 32 pages for $4.99. Here's your solicit. Ultron returns, redeemed. Iron Man and War Machine have put together a new team of Avengers, one that includes villains seeking a path to redemption. Where have I heard of this premise before?
I mean,
I can't put my finger on it.
It's not like they can. It's not like the heroes can stop trying to make villains reform.
I got it. Suicide Squad. Ultron, who, against all odds, seems to be walking the straight and narrow for now. But does the success of one guarantee the success of all? Spider-Woman and Firestar have their doubts. I mean, Firestar probably will eventually. Not so much here yet. And can any amount of heroics really absolve Ultron of his past? I would argue no.
It's funny. Matt and I had a debate on the Discord about whether or not Magneto was a worse villain than Ultron. 2 characters that have made face turns. Ultron wants to kill all humans. True. All organic life.
All organic life. We're puppies, cats, salamanders, like everything.
Magneto wants to kill all humans, or wanted to kill all humans.
Wanted to, but he reformed. He did reform. We've never seen Ultron reform, is my point.
But he'd never been he'd never shown any heroic tendencies when Chuck gave him the keys to the mansion.
Sure.
In Uncanny X-Men 200.
Chuck knew that goodness was in there, though. He just knew it was there.
He was literally on trial for war crimes.
All right, West Coast Avengers. So fresh off his Iron Man run, Jerry Duggan is writing Iron Man. But not just Iron Man, War Machine's here too. So he's got the keys to all the iron. There is even though it's in the solicit and he's on the cover, there is a cute bait and switch that they do in the first few pages. You see like a woman and a child and they're trapped in a fire. Who will save us? And an armored figure appears. Don't worry. Come with me, ma'am. And it's obviously Iron Man, but no, it's Ultron. And it's that, face turn moment that where everyone's supposed to go, what? And it works. It's fun, I suppose. I just don't totally get it. And they do a thing in the end that made me go, well, yeah, that's why you don't put Ultron on your team right there. Duggan brings back the Scarlet Centurion armor. It's easily my favorite Iron Man armor, and strapping car batteries to it is nice. And he acknowledges, look, there's stuff going on in the regular Iron Man title, and if you're clued into that, then he's having iron problems.
Like, it sat in a warehouse for 10, 20 years.
Well,
it had no juice.
But also he doesn't have access to his arc reactors and stuff like that. So he doesn't have a way to juice things up right now. Like,
right.
He's completely cut off. And man, like, I'm not complaining about Jerry Duggan being on Iron Man and writing more Iron Man, because I think Duggan writes an excellent Tony Stark. He's so good at it. And he brings like a very lighthearted script to this, which this is not to say the West Coast Avengers is like a lighthearted, jokey book, but it kind of has been in recent years. And I think I prefer that to how hyper serious the old West Coast Avengers got, to a point where it's just like, this is so much soap opera, I can barely take it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was on par with the regular Avengers books, I suppose, in that sort of...
Well, I think it's a little sillier than that. You've got Iron Man driving around town
I mean, in terms of the old stuff, in terms of like the level of drama.
Yes. Yeah.
They were both serious superhero books of the same level of drama.
No, without a doubt. The Avengers book was...
with every subsequent revival of West Coast Avengers or something like it, it's like lighthearted and fun because the idea is very silly.
The idea is silly. Like, look, you're telling me the Avengers can't get to LA if they need to? Like, they can get anywhere they want.
I mean, like, once they started living in a city in orbit of the Earth.
Right.
Or in a mountain in the Arctic or wherever.
Or they have any teleporters on the team.
They got no problems getting anywhere on the planet.
I don't mind the premise here. I think it's kind of fun. And I think Iron Man's trying to do a PR thing, so it makes sense to like try and reform some villains and stuff. There is a Thunderbolts movie coming, and I understand there's no Thunderbolts comic right now, but they are definitely going to launch one real quick here, right? I mean, you can't, they have to, right?
I would assume, yeah.
What'd you think of this art? I thought Kim was really good in parts and does a really nice job in some of the lighthearted stuff and makes the book look kind of fun. I thought there were other parts where like the armor looked a little weird, or there was some weird face stuff. I don't think he's bad. I think he's pretty good.
No, I don't think he's bad. But I did think that it was...
Some of it was almost a little too lighthearted, maybe, in style.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. There was just a tone to the art that I think was maybe at odds.
Yeah.
With the story, especially considering the end of the story.
Yeah.
And, and I was just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But then again, they're doing this like weird Guy Gardner thing with this convict that's on work release. Blue Steel or whatever the hell his name is. Blue Bolt.
Yeah. I think it's Blue Bolt.
But so I don't know. I mean, time will tell. It'll depend on what the tone of the book is.
I think he has a lot of promise. And I
don't think it's bad. I just don't know if this is the right project for him.
I don't like his Spider-Woman. I think her eyes just look dead. And I understand she has white. That's her costume. But like, you could put some texture on him or something so she doesn't look like a ghost. I don't love it.
I mean, like, what are they supposed to do? What's he supposed to do?
Maybe just the colorist could do something. I don't know. Give it a little texture. Look, I had fun here. It's a good first issue. It's not groundbreaking. They're not doing anything real new with the West Coast Avengers. And I think when you put Ultron on the cover, you kind of steal the lead. And I almost wish we wouldn't have known. I almost wish it would have been like one of those covers where everyone's like, not you. And it's like they're the back of someone's head and you don't know. But I mean,
right.
There is a good mystery. I want to see what they're doing with the character. It's a clever last page. I'm giving this a buy it.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. See, like, I think his faces are goofy.
Some of them
his
are
faces are a little
goofy.
too silly looking.
Some of them are
not
goofy.
not in a bad way. I just think that he draws very cartoonish faces. But I love like the small humorous touches. Like this Blue Bolt guy has already thrown his whole identity into being a West Coast Avenger, and he has a huge A logo neck tattoo.
Yeah.
I loved the Silver Centurion armor. I like Ultron trying to eat by burning tacos to measure their caloric content. Like there are a lot of nice touches that I enjoyed.
They're trying to do some funny stuff.
I do think the art is good. I just don't know if Danny Kim fits this. It just will depend on if Duggan can stay in a lane.
I'm kind of with you. Like I could see him, and this is not by no means a knock on his art. Like I could see him doing a Squirrel Girl. I could see him doing something funny.
No, exactly.
And
no,
like,
not a knock at all. But like
lighthearted, all ages, even.
If Duggan sticks to the themes that we saw in the last 3 or 4 pages of the book, then I will say, ooh, not right.
Right.
But if he sticks to the tone we saw in the first 15 pages, I'll be like, yeah, totally fits.
Yeah.
So this is a buy it from me. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Good. I love the West Coast Avengers. And I'll take it however I can get it.
Don't feel like my West Coast Avengers. Come on.
It doesn't feel like the real West Coast Avengers until Master Pandemonium shows up.
There you go. Wrong Spider-Woman, too. Nice try, guys.
That's right. Well, hey, while we're on the subject of team revivals, let's talk about the Justice League. It's Justice League Unlimited #1 from DC. It's written by Mark Waid with art by Dan Mora, colors by Tamara Bonvillain, letters are by Ariana Maurer. It's 32 pages for $3.99. Here's your solicit. The Watchtower rises. The Justice League is back and bigger than ever. In the wake of absolute power and the DC All-In special, Darkseid's death has triggered a massive power vacuum in the DCU, and Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman must unite like never before and expand the Justice League to encompass every hero championing the forces of good in the face of incredible evil.
No longer limited. They are now truly unlimited.
That's right. It's not Justice League Limited. Justice League LLC.
Yeah.
As our heroes work to uncover the mystery of the Dark Lord's successor, Ray Palmer's Atom Project triggers a race between hero and villain to control the fate of meta-human abilities on planet Earth, which threatens to destroy everything the League has built. Worlds will live, worlds will die, and a surprise is waiting in store on the last page. Do not miss the dawn of the new era of justice. It all begins here.
That's how you do it. That's how you do a cliffhanger. Surprise on the last page.
I mean,
yeah.
But to be fair, the new era of justice began in the DC All-In special.
No, I'm sure. But like the gang all got together here. They're doing it.
No, it's true.
They're doing it.
And I tell you what, you want to hook a guy like Joe Patrick in right away, you go ahead and invoke the Crisis on Infinite Earths slogan. Worlds will die, worlds will live, worlds will die, ... I'm in. Like, you got me. The issue kicks off with a bang as a squad of vets and newbies try to stop a giant war machine in South Africa. The war machine just looks just like the Big Wheel, which I thought was hilarious.
It's the War Wheels. Isn't this a thing? Aren't War Wheels a thing? Am I making that up?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought they were.
Well, except it was a new group, and we'll get to that.
No, I knew that. I just thought the War Wheels
I've seen War Wheels. Yes, of course.
Okay.
The title page with its like sunset hued light from behind is an obvious nod to the cartoon's opening credits.
Oh, yeah.
The young Airwave that we discussed in our Absolute Power episode is our POV character, and we see just how massive the new JLU is through his eyes. He gets a fun super speed tour of the Watchtower, which means we do too, courtesy of the Flash and his dumb new costume. We got ourselves a new secret society here, boys and girls. It's called Inferno. Never before seen. They are so confident in their ability to make the Justice League eat their own lunch. They just tell them their plan. They're like, you can't stop us.
Yeah, it's not even like a cocky thing either. They're just like, oh.
No. It's just like, you are not of concern
Superman,
to us. Good luck out there.
Didn't you know that we all ganged up? And they're like, that's cute. Yeah. We're not really worried about it.
We'll see you at this time on this date. Yeah. And this is exactly what we're doing.
Bring your lunch money.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Star Sapphire getting her hero moment. Mm-hmm. I'm glad she's got something that sets her apart from just being the pink Green Lantern, you know? Wade does an incredible job managing the massive scope of the concept while still giving it personal stakes. Side note, and this is kind of about the art as well, there are so many obscure characters that show up just around the periphery,
but like that's what we're tuned in for, right?
And like, it pushed all of my buttons.
Yeah,
even our boys, the weird chupacabra and gold fucking cockroach from whatever their names were from Absolute Power show up.
I don't think it was gold cockroach.
It wasn't gold cockroach.
I believe he was a frog, Joe.
Yes, you're right. The golden frog. Yes, you're right. He was a frog. There's a subplot brewing that might be about that dark side stuff the Solicit mentioned.
Oh,
and a classic comic book twist ending. I'm calling my shot right here. I think it's parademons. I think those are full of parademons, but we'll see.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it's Marvel's Aliens. I think they're just going to come right
sure,
at them.
Right, yeah.
Because it sure is the same looking like weird egg thing.
Dan Mora and Tamara Bonfilin, man. Hot damn.
Yeah.
It's just, good Lord.
Yeah. It's not fair. I mean,
it is not fair at all. This gets a huge buy it from me. This is exactly what I wanted it to be. And there was no reason to ever be concerned that Wade could pull it off. And Dan Mora is the perfect artist for it.
Yeah, it's great. It's all action. It's a ton of fun. It looks great. I saw the last page coming. I saw it.
It's kind of, yeah, but then the fun becomes like, how do we get out of it?
Well, sure.
Like how does this person get out of it?
Maybe. Yeah. No, but I love this. Huge buy it. It's just exactly what it needs to be, and it's what it should have been for a long time, to be perfectly honest.
So, Matt, I hear your next comic is written by my other comic book boyfriend.
It's true, Joe. The triumphant return of your boy, Mr. James Robinson. I was shocked you didn't pick this one, honestly.
I mean, I don't think he really went anywhere.
You like to gush.
Because he's got that horror book coming out with Scott Collins, but...
I mean, it's been a while. But yeah, that is true. And we liked that,
It's still going. It's still an issue
it's
came out recently, I think.
Wild. Yeah. Patra with Scott Collins. Wild book. This is Welcome to the Maynard, #1 from Dark Horse. It's written by James Robinson with art by Jabone. That's J-Bone. Colors by Ian Herring. Letters by Jim Campbell. Cover by Jabone. 32 pages. It's $3.99. Here's your solicit. The Maynard is a hotel unlike any other. A place where every guest and staff member has magic in their veins. It's a hotel for magicians, witches, and otherworldly beings. It's also where Philippa, Pip Dale, begins her first day as the hotel's new bellhop and trainee house detective. Oh. She's immediately
spoilers.
Sent, yeah, I like,
That's a spoiler.
Yeah.
Dark Horse.
That doesn't happen in this issue. She's immediately sent on the hunt for a magical hotel thief whose daring thefts are part of a much bigger mystery, one that could turn deadly at any moment, and that's just one of the many challenges and perils Pip must face in her job in the magical Maynard Hotel, a wonderful, thrilling, fun place, so please come in and stay a while. This creative team is stacked.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely stacked. And I don't know.
I love Jabone. I really do.
Oh God, he's incredible. And for those of you who don't know, he has this very pop art animated style. It's almost like Terry Toons animation.
It's
style.
Darwin Cook is what it is.
It's very similar to Darwin
Like
Cook,
J-Bone spent a lot of time actually working with Darwin Cook.
And he's just
like they are a match, a perfect match.
He's immensely talented, and his art and the story, but his art gives the book a very timeless feel. Like this will feel fresh in 20 years, and it would have felt fresh 20 years ago. It's great. It looks so good.
Not that it's visually the same, but the vibe of it reminded me of James Robinson's 90s magical girl detective story, Leave It to Chance.
Very much so. Yeah, no question.
Yeah, which was illustrated by the great Paul Smith.
Yeah. Oh, God, love Paul Smith, too. Ian Herring on colors does an exceptional job, too. It's like whenever they're dealing
beautiful
with the regular world, it's kind of drab. It looks whatever. And then the second that we get to the hotel, which no one can see unless you are either magic or half magic, meaning like when your parents was magical, you can see the Maynard and it just like explodes into like Richie Rich animation. You know?
That panel, that page turn where Pip comes around the corner and you see the Maynard shimmering over top of two drab normal buildings.
Well, yeah, it's sort of like looks like you know, like in Doctor Strange where he moves buildings and they walk between them and nobody can see it happening.
Yeah. Like it didn't
that's
read
what
as
I
a
got.
portal, like not a portal so much to me as it was like you are seeing through the glamour, right?
Maybe
the magical illusion. You're seeing past it. And it's so gorgeously colored.
It's great.
Yeah.
The issue introduces a cast of hotel characters. There's obviously a very interesting hotel detective that's going to feed into things. Thanks, Solicit. Most that I like that Pip, because she's half magical and she's working at a magic, hotel that literally no one talks about or nobody can see unless you're magical. She can't tell her girlfriend what she does or where she works. She has to come home and basically make something up. Right.
Yeah, because
it's a secret.
We never get the impression that Pip can do magic or that any half magical person can do magic. Well, it's just that they have magical blood in their veins.
Yeah, there's definitely a mystery with her parentage, though. Like she doesn't know who Dad is. She knows,
right? But like, I don't know if halfies are out there casting spells. You know what I mean?
I don't know if she's a halfie. That's the thing. She doesn't know if she's.
That might be also part of the mystery.
Yeah, because she sort of says something to that effect.
He says she's a halfie. But
I know my mom is magical. I don't know who my dad is, so I guess I'm assuming I'm a halfie or whatever. But like, I think there's something going on there. There's a mystery with this magic thief. J-Bone gets to draw tons of ridiculous magic creatures and a parade of ridiculous wizards and witches. This book is just charming. There's no other word for it.
It's a goddamn delight is what it is.
Absolutely charming. And it's written all ages, but not in a kiddie way. It's just appropriate for everyone and fun.
Right. Yes. All ages in a way that doesn't talk down to anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just not explicit in any way.
No, just a pleasant surprise by two excellent creators. Dark Horse has become, if Image is sort of like the smoky bar where like the hotshot young creators hang out, then Dark Horse is turning into like the country club for the older creator-owned masters,
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's certainly an analogy.
Well, you've got like Bendis over there, and you've got Sakai and all these guys. Robinson fits right in with them. So I'm giving this a buy.
True. That's true.
This huge buy. I really enjoyed it.
Isn't Mark Miller over there now too?
Yeah, Miller. Yep, Miller's over there now too. I'm telling you, it's the old guy country club.
You know what? Someone else can have him, but yeah. No, this was fantastic. I really, really liked it. You texted me very excited about it, and I was eager to read it, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm a big obviously everyone knows I'm a big James Robinson fan, but we can all agree that not everything he's put out has been stellar. This is great. This one is great.
It's
and
great.
The art by Jabone is tremendous. It really feels like a Darwin Cook comic to me.
It does.
Which is, I can't give it a higher compliment because he's my favorite comic book artist of all time.
He's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, and the coloring, fantastic. Yeah. Good stuff. I can't wait for the next one. And now it's a time for a book so important that one Peter just wasn't enough to handle it. It's Hornsby and Halo.
Sometimes you need two Peters, you know?
Sometimes you need two Peters.
Some
you
might
guys
say
know what I'm talking about.
at least once a week.
It's Hornsby and Halo #1. Filthy. From Image Comics, Ghost Machine imprint. That's right. Ghost Machine's back, baby. This one's written by Peter J. Tomasi. I always call him Pete. We know him as Pete.
What do you mean Ghost Machine's back? They've got like 4 books running monthly. Right
I know, but it's been a while since we've reviewed one of them. Okay. The art here is by Peter Snejbjerg, who was also a creator of Starman. He was James Robinson's artistic partner for the second half of the series. Colors are by John Kalish. Letters are by Rob Lee. It's 32 pages for $3.99. Here's your solicit. Series premiere. It's good versus evil versus puberty from the minds of Peter J. Tomasi, who you know from Batman and Robin and Super Sons, and Peter Snejbjerg from Starman and BPRD. Keeping the cosmic peace isn't easy, but the opposing leaders of heaven and hell broker a deal that trades Zachary Halo, an angel child, to a demon family, and Rose Hornsby, a demon child, to an angel family.
It's like Game of Thrones. It's just where they trade bastards, you know?
Sure. And they hope that this truce will halt the winds of war. It's nature versus nurture as the turbulence of adolescence comes crashing down on 2 teenagers who have no idea just who and what they truly are yet. You said it's like Game of Thrones, but let's get one thing straight. This concept is shamelessly swiped from the Mr. Miracle Orion origin by Jack Kirby.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Fargo season 5. Sorry.
Well, that too. Fargo season 5. We'll let all that slide for now. You know what? It's a tale as old as time. I bet it predates Jack Kirby.
Oh, this is like ancient Roman. Yes.
Sure.
That's where the shit comes from. It's like mythology. Yeah.
Tomasi takes us through the daily lives of our 2 main characters, and they seem remarkably well adjusted considering. I mean,
they're super beings.
Zach's parents are complete assholes, and he seems like an okay dude.
Well, I mean, like, kid's an angel.
I get it, but then the other one doesn't seem equally evil, even though her parents are great.
Okay, so that's the thing that I want to get into, because they're like, oh, one's a devil and one's an angel, and one's raised by good parents, one's raised by bad parents, but they're both still like good.
But alignment-wise, they seem the same.
Yeah, they seem just good, no matter what. So it's not really nature versus nurture at all.
I mean, are they saying that like it's nature, like nurture wins out when you've got a devil spawn, but nature ain't shit if your kid's good enough.
Like if they did like Devil Girl's super sweet and like shy and whatever, and she's really nice to everybody in school, and then when she goes home, she tortures small animals. You know,
exactly.
Oh shit.
Now we do see hints that each one is sort of obsessed with images of their origins. For example, Rose, who was raised by a kind and loving family. The solicit says that the parents were actually angels and demons, but the comic doesn't really.
I think they switch. Maybe they switched that up.
The comic doesn't say that.
Well, like
the solicit does. Though.
Didn't they do something in the one, like that one shot where they introduce like her parents like giving her away? Maybe they're talking about that.
Well, I don't remember that. But in the intro to this, it's just like 2 sentinels of heaven and hell.
Yeah, she's a baby in hell. He's a baby in heaven. They don't even show parents or whatever.
Now the bus driver was definitely an angel. You know, like there are certain things you can tell where it's just like that dude's an angel.
Yeah, or something, an agent of heaven or something. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so Rose, who was raised by these really great people, doodles demons and hellfire nonstop. It's not that she does bad things, but she's drawn some bad things.
She listens to death metal. It doesn't make you evil, you know.
I felt really bad for Zach having to live with such crap bag parents. Like they are just awful. Tomasi's script is light and fun, despite some very heavy moral themes. I absolutely adore Peter Snejbjerg. I've been a huge fan of his since Starman. He's still excellent today.
He's great.
He infuses that art with youthful energy, But then his backgrounds, like the rest of his pages, are beautifully rendered environments.
This is some of the best stuff I've seen from him, to be perfectly honest. Like, I'm not saying that anything was bad in the past, but I think his style has like really improved. He looks great here.
Well, it's a little different in this one because his interpretation of the kids is much more lighthearted in the figure drawing. You know what I mean? Their faces are cartoony.
Sure. Oh, well,
they're less defined.
This is an all ages. Like, this is their family line.
It is. Yeah. Their family.
I'll find it. It's on the cover. It's like,
it's on the cover. Yeah. It's like
they call it
Family
Odysseys, which is not
the
catchy.
Family Odysseys. Yeah.
Not catchy. Come on, guys.
Yeah, this was really good. It's a lot of fun. I knew I was kind of primed to like it already because I'm such a big fan of both creators. It's not breaking any new ground, really.
No,
but it's very well told. The art is gorgeous. This is another hit from Ghost Machine. This gets a buy it from me.
It is good, and I was kind of dreading this one because I didn't care for the short preview or whatever from that Ghost Machine book that had all the stories on
the one shot.
I
think it was the time traveler one that I thought that we may have thought was the worst one.
I'm not saying this was the worst. I'm just saying it seemed cutesy and kind of whatever and formulaic, and I was just like, yeah, all right, I don't care. We'll see. It's way better than I thought it was going to be. I'll say that. I hope this works because they are billing it as all ages, and I can see adults digging it and maybe trying to give it to kids. I don't know if kids get into it.
I mean, older kids, right?
I guess.
Like not little kids, obviously.
Well, no, yeah. I'm not talking toddlers or anything like that, but yeah.
Like 10, 12-year-olds, sure.
Maybe. It felt like to me it was written to like 16 to 18-year-olds. Like it's not dirty.
I mean,
but it's intelligent enough. And there's some heavy stuff going on in the beginning with the battle of the angels and the devils. I think it's really good. I mean, it's very good.
The 2-page spread at the beginning is like full of angel corpses.
Yeah. I mean, they're taking it seriously, and I like that. They're not talking down to kids and stuff like that. And some of our favorite movies and stories from when we were growing up were stories that didn't talk down to kids, right? Your monster squads and stuff. You had a kid with a shotgun that smoked cigarettes in that movie.
Sure, Goonies.
He was 10.
Right? Right.
Yeah, the Goonies had filthy mouths. So they're not talking down to kids. I like this. I'm going to give it a buy it. I hope kids dig it. Because I think that's going to be a tough sell.
I do too. I think I think turning him into like pseudo supernatural superheroes is kind of a fun angle.
Yeah. But they are both good. I kind of can't. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
Yeah.
Tomasi, you're going to have to make them a little bit more different.
Yeah, and I'm not saying make Angel Kid like skin anybody, but I mean,
The other one, the Devil Kid.
No, but that's the thing. The Devil Kid's raised to be good. Right. The Angel Kid's raised to be bad.
We want to believe that nurture
that you can't change who they are, but we'll see.
Gimme that.
And now, on to comics from Wednesday, December 4th.
Gimme that. Gimme that. Gimme that.
Joe Patrick, every time someone has made the jump from Hollywood to comics, it has been a rollicking success. I cannot think of
every time.
100%
of the time.
It did not work. That's why when I heard Jesus Orleano was coming to comics, I was thrilled. No offense, Jesus. I've not seen your movie. So he made a movie.
Jesus Orleano
Made a movie called Rosa. I've not seen it, but I'm sure it's good. This is Juvenile, #1 from Image, created by Jesus Orleano. 32 pages for $3.99. I'm only saying one name because Jesus did everything.
He drew it too?
The whole damn book. The inks, the lettering, the design. He sat down and made a fucking comic book. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, what have you done lately?
Yeah. 32 pages for $3.99. Here is your solicit. In a future where a deadly virus kills everyone upon reaching adulthood, teenagers are confined to massive medical facilities until a mysterious new patient arrives and reveals a shocking secret. Sarah is locked up in El Castillo, a fortress for troubled youth ruled with an iron fist by a retired military officer. Everything changes with the arrival of a mysterious new patient who reveals a shocking secret. The virus isn't killing them. It's giving them telekinetic abilities that the adults are desperately trying to suppress with medication and experimental surgeries. In a race
None of this is made clear in the comic.
Well,
so thank you, Image, for this huge spoiler.
No, I mean, like, they're unraveling it. I did not read this before I read the comic again. But going back and reading it, I can see them working. But yes, a lot of the larger things are not.
I'm saying now, like, if you just read this and then you read the solicit afterwards, you would be like, wait, it's all of them?
This is why I don't like solicits, period.
I know.
In a race against time, they decide to use their newfound powers to escape. But when the adults find out, they'll discover that not only are their lives at stake, but also the fate of the human race. Visionary filmmaker Jesus Orellana, who made the movie Rosa, storms into comics with a cinematic 5-issue miniseries that seamlessly bridges the gap between film and comics. When I read something like that, I go, okay, that's my, eyes roll back. Let's see what you got.
Sure it does, Jesus.
Instantly, page 1, I went, who is this guy? Oh my, this cannot be this dude's first comic book because the panels are deep, detailed, his characters, and there's a bunch of them, all are recognizable, different people, very human, not to mention the fact that the experiment here is you, like the kids, are trapped in this building. The whole story takes place in this building, and he has to develop an entire world building exercise. And he's doing it through the teenagers sort of say, I heard this, and I heard this was going on. And I heard, this new kid, I heard he's a murderer or whatever. And like, they're literally looking out the window to see him brought in. And that's the only real view of the outside that we get. It's a difficult story setup, and you've got to have some writing chops to pull it off. And this dude nails it. I was never bored. I was blown away at the POV of his art. I thought the character drawings were just excellent. There's some like really trippy things that happen where like a character pictures their head exploding with the medication that they're taking, and it's vibrant and gorgeous. There is no way this is this dude's first comic book. It's impossible. There's no way. And I couldn't find anything else.
I'm looking him up, and I think that he is a digital artist because Rosa is an animated short. There aren't even any credited actors.
Okay,
in it. I don't think it's got dialogue.
That makes a lot more sense that he's an animator. I'll buy that.
And if you look at the screenshots or the trailer, like I'm looking at IMDb.com right now, and the trailer started to autoplay. The faces look exactly the same.
Okay,
they
that
look just
makes
like him.
So much more sense because I'm like, who is this person? Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
For like a first effort out of the gate. Oh my God. Like Jack Kirby didn't look this good in his first efforts. Holy shit.
All right, hold on now. Pump the brakes.
The book, I mean, like, but if I were to tell you,
it is gorgeous.
This is their first comic book, you'd be like, no, get out of here. It's just it's a really interesting story. It's a great setup. It's done through this exercise where you're in a locked room, essentially, almost like a locked room mystery, and you have to develop the world and the story around it. And I think he absolutely nails it. I had no idea what I was getting into. I did not read the solicit before I read the book. I just picked it up because I looked at the cover and went, all right, well, let's see what we got here. Pleasantly surprised. I am giving this a buy it. I can't believe how good this looks. It's a great book.
Yeah. Yes. I agree. I really, really enjoyed it. I think the story is fun. I do wish. I wish they wouldn't give away so much in the solicits.
Yeah, it's
because the idea that like all of the kids eventually will develop these powers is something that should be something. It should be something you discover over the course of the series,
right? And the way it's revealed here, it could just be these two kids.
It just could be the one kid.
Yeah,
because he's talking to her and he's talking.
Yeah,
he's
maybe
reading her mind,
and she's
not displaying any powers whatsoever.
And they do it like I don't know why I've never seen this in comics before, but it makes all the sense in the world. Whenever he is able to read someone's mind, their thought balloons are colored. And we go,
Yeah, they're green. Yeah.
he's reading.
Yeah.
It's because they're green. He can read their mind. And when they're red, she's reading someone else's mind. Like how do the X-Men not think of this? This is brilliant.
Yeah. But like, yeah, she doesn't display any powers at all. And so, yeah, if you didn't know that going in, you're probably better off. So sorry, I guess. But it was very good. This isn't a ding against it or anything. I just want you to be prepared. Like it's obvious when you read it that it has been translated from presumably Spanish.
I didn't think it was that bad. It didn't.
No. I'm not saying it's bad, but like
no, I mean like
noticeable.
I should say. I didn't think it was that noticeable.
It was noticeable to me, but
you're a racist.
There are
certain.
So yeah. No.
Why can't an American creator have this job? Right?
No, stop
coming over here doing my comics.
Matt, shut up. When a book is translated into English from Spanish or French or whatever, there are usually things that I can spot that stick out. Nobody uses contractions. Nobody. It's always, I will do this, or there's not an apostrophe in this whole joint. I think there's one instance of the nurse using the word won't, and everything else is like full 2-word clauses, no contractions. So it's just sometimes, like, to me, there was a little bit of stilting to the dialogue, but not in a way that I found distracting or bad. I just noticed is all. The art is very good.
This dude has no formal training. Joined from illustrator to 3D animation director to fulfill his dream of making movies with no formal training. He embarked on his journey to learn the process, resulting in the creation of Rosa. Constrained by limited resources, Jesus opted for animation, allowing him to bring his vivid imagination to life. Just started drawing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just started drawing is one thing. Taught yourself how to make complex 3D rendered animation.
Oh my
completely
God.
different.
What an asshole.
Like that's like beautiful mind shit.
Yeah.
My first pick for this week is Two-Face #1 from DC Comics. It's written by Christian Ward. Art is by Fabio Veras. Colors are by Ivan Placentia. Letters are by Hassan Otsmane Alhau. Cover is by Baldemar Rivas. It's 32 pages for $3.99, and here's your solicit. Harvey Dent's greatest trial begins! After years of internal conflict, both halves of Harvey Dent have reached an uneasy peace. Now Harvey will use his skills as an attorney to resolve the conflicts of Gotham's weirdest and most dangerous criminals, starting with Victor Zsasz.
I feel like that's lying to me, because they're not at peace at all.
Well, I mean...
no spoilers.
When Zsasz is accused of murdering a fellow member of Gotham's underworld contingent, who better to prove a criminal's innocence than someone who's been on both sides of the law? Now, I was very hesitant when I heard they were giving Two-Face a solo series, but I knew Christian Ward was a creator capable of delivering something unexpected. Like, have you seen literally anything that dude's had his name on? It's all just the weirdest, crazy shit.
I don't think I have. What else has Ward done?
Christian Ward did Aquaman Andromeda. He did Odyssey.
When he's not drawing
ODYC.
When he's not drawing it as well, I didn't realize it was the same dude. So
yes, I don't know I'm not really sure how many writing credits he has under his belt. This may be his first. I'm not 100%.
I mean, he wrote that Aquaman Odyssey thing, that Aquaman thing too, and he wrote the Batman thing he did. Yeah, those are both like singular creator, Christopher
All right,
Ward.
Well, yeah. Good. How does Gotham's underworld keep from devouring itself? By forming its own self-imposed system of law and order.
Love it.
And that is where Harvey Dent comes in.
I love it. It's like Barter Town. Bust a deal, spin the wheel.
It's very clever, yeah. Ward's script is full of twists and turns because, of course, it would have to be featuring a host of mostly no-name villains and a bizarro court of law. Night Nerd's favorite, Mr. Zaz, gets a much-deserved return to the spotlight. Minus the weird Brayfogle eyes, I'm sorry to say, but hey.
Yeah, he doesn't have the pointy.
And I love all of the weird attempts by the criminals to embrace the courtroom trappings, like quote unquote Judge Reaper wearing a powdered wig.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
And the massive bailiff with a gavel for a hand.
But like, I mean, like, think about it. Like, of course they want to play act this. They all work for clowns and giant crocodiles and, men who like have Alice in Wonderland tea parties. Of course they want to play act this.
Right. The art by Fabio Veras is intense and moody.
So good.
Ivan Placentia's equally dark palette explodes with color when you least expect it.
Yeah. The thing with the opening scene with Harvey getting the acid on the face. Holy shit, that is beautiful. Just glowing purple. I love it.
And then the very end especially is a showcase for Placentia.
Oh, yeah.
Like, very well done. This was fantastic. I really enjoyed Two-Face #1. I was doubtful, but Ward and Veras pulled it off, and Placentia, they pulled it off, man. It's great.
Yeah, Ward, he seems like the kind of creator that you would have to put on something like this. That's not to say like Two-Face is not a compelling villain. Two-Face is an exceptionally compelling villain. But how many monthly books do we have starring a compelling villain? It's hard to do, right? And this thing with the courtroom and the setup that they have with like Harvey as the lawyer again. Like, when was the last time we saw Two-Face acting like this? That's what got me. He did the opposite. And instead of going the easy way and be like, oh, Two-Face, yeah, he's crazy, he's scary, he's a psychopath. Like, well, not always. No, he's not. He's also Harvey Dent, attorney at law. And like, I want to explore that and what happens. And he's still crazy. Don't get me wrong, because Harvey,
Harvey's deeply broken.
Part of him believes like, oh, if I do this really well, the DA's office will be like, you're absolved, Harvey. Come on back.
Harvey,
like, no, dude.
yeah, right. The DA is going to bring me back into the fold.
Like, he's still psychotic.
And then we see him like gouge a dude's eyes out.
Yeah.
When he gets found guilty, it's
he's
like, oh,
still
shit.
Completely insane.
Yeah.
And I love the use of Zaz and like how, it's like that To Kill a Mockingbird moment where they throw the guy the ball and he catches it with the left hand and the woman was strangled with the right hand, and it instantly proves like, there you go. Zaz has that moment in this, but it's very different. And Harvey's like, Zaz, you fucking idiot. I was just about to show how innocent you were. But then he's able to use that, in that. Oh, it's really clever. This was outstanding. I loved it. I'm giving it a buy.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
We can't talk about superheroes all day, so let's get into some weirdo, wacky robot stories with Long Cold Winter. This is from Mad Cave. It's written by Francesca Perillo. Let's go with that. And art by Stefano Cardacelli, colors by Lorenzo Scaramella, and letters by Buddy Bodin. It's 40 pages for $3.99. Here's your solicit. In the not-too-distant future, the air on Earth has become unbreathable. However, a multinational company called Airco has constructed generators that provide oxygen for those who can't afford it. This is probably, 2 weeks from now. You watch. Peace Dog, a desperate ex-soldier who has been willing to do anything to obtain breathable air, is haunted by his past and hunted by bounty hunters, though he may have found a way out of his current predicament by helping a mysterious robot child escape the dangerous and congested city. But someone from his past has no intention of letting him leave alive. These creators teamed up on another Mad Cave robot story about a cab driving robot that falls in love with a rider. It was called Love Me. I absolutely loved that series. And we were going to review it on the show, but it got cut because that was a time where we were like, we're reviewing too many books. Let's just do 4 each. Go check it out. It's a wonderful book, and they bring all of that weirdness here. This is really a vehicle for Stefano Cardacelli's insane art and design. He is the best kind of weirdo. Think Kevin O'Neill's Martial Law, or maybe a little more toned down Jim Mahfood. It's very graffiti inspired. It's very mecha inspired, but he definitely has his own style and even his color palette. I can't think of another book that looks like this, with these like bright blues and greens and oranges in this like really dismal dystopian world. Like, it looks really hot. And the book is called Long Cold Winter. So I don't really know what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, not long, cold, nuclear winter.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. He's got this really hectic line work, and his characters are just, they're either gross and wrinkly, or they're these just massive robots that move way faster, robotic looking characters that move way faster than they possibly should. His action is great, though. It's stiff and it's weird, but it's so great. I love this guy's art style. His scope as well. There's one panel where we see like a dust storm roll in, and you realize, oh, this is set in New York, because the Statue of Liberty's there, but it's surrounded by these giant buildings that are even taller or whatever, and there's no water. So something has gone very wrong on the earth. And the dust storm that's rolling in is just massive, like way bigger than the city, and your characters are these
I didn't even notice the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, but there it is.
The story itself, I mean, like, look, we've seen this before. It's very much like a Leon the Professional or Baby Cart to Hades, you know, Samurai and the Kid, where you have a dangerous protector who's trying to leave his violent life, but all his past sins keep catching up to him, and he still has a heart of gold, but yeah, he's done a lot of really questionable things. Yet when he meets this kid who gives him a chance to get away from this, he legit decides, yeah, I'm going to help you, you know? So it's a story we've seen before. It works here, though. Again, this is an art vehicle more than anything, with a heart, though. I really enjoyed this. I'm giving this a buy it. Look, this art is not for everybody. It's weirdo comic book art, but this is very high level.
Very much like
weirdo
modern underground.
Art. Yeah.
Right.
Very high level weirdo comic book art.
Yeah. This is a buy it for me as well. And the first thing I thought of when I saw the art was Keith Giffen's Trencher.
Yeah. I mean,
you remember
he was
Keith
lifting
Giffen in the 90s,
but
he
was lifting Kevin O'Neill's Martial Law when he did Trencher. No question.
Well, but I mean, maybe.
He was an homage.
Like, Keith Giffen went through a phase in the 90s where his figures became even blockier than usual. The colors became ultra vibrant.
Yeah.
And it was a very different vibe for Keith Giffen. And that's what this reminded me of was that. Because it's not Kevin O'Neill, like, the line work is one thing. The line work plus the coloring is another.
Well, I guess I'm talking about martial law specifically when I talk about.
And that's where I got Trencher from. Yeah. Was the combination of art and coloring. And yeah, it's super fun. Like, look, are his humans grotesque nightmares that are anatomically suspect? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is that the point? No. Because the rest of the book looks equally bizarre.
Yeah, like think Peter Chung's Aeon Flux, like, for example.
Sure.
That dude is a master animator illustrator, and there is nothing normal or human about any of his characters.
You're right. It's a feature, not a bug. Right. And yeah, I thought this was a ton of fun. It's a buy it for me. I thought that the Dust Storm splash page was breathtaking.
Yeah, man.
Really
just
well
amazing. Done. And shows like when he wants to do detail, he understands detail. It's not just sketch a bunch of lines, make it look weird. Right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, we had to get back to the Marvel Universe for our last book of the week. It's all new Venom #1.
I was so
Marvel.
tired of the old Venom. Oh, I'm so
I
glad
thought we
got
were
a new
done
one.
with that. I thought we left that all new shit in the past.
No, Joe,
What are
this
we
is the
doing
new
here?
Venom. This isn't the old Venom.
I mean, it is a new Venom, but yeah. So this is from Marvel Comics. It's written by the same old writer, Al Ewing, with art by Carlos E. Gomez, colors by Frank D'Armata, letters are by VC's Clayton Cowles, covers by Adam Kubert. He does the main cover. There's also another very distressing blob-faced Venom variant
Yeah, I didn't like that
that
one.
I posted in
I
the
didn't
Discord.
realize this was Kubert on this cover, though.
The main cover is by Adam Kubert. Well, that's who's credited.
It's him. I mean, it's signed by him and everything. I just didn't.
There you have it.
That
yeah.
style.
No,
just-
it didn't look like his work to me either.
No, it looks really. I mean, he's always flashy, I guess. Just really modern, I guess. I don't know. Normally, I can pick out a Kubert like that.
The same, yeah. It's 32 pages for $4.99. Here is your solicit. Who is the all-new Venom? The smiling, swashbuckling superhero New York loves to hate to love is back, and more fun-loving than ever. That's right, it's Venom? An all-new host is taking the symbiote. Oh, sorry, okay. An all-new host is taking the symbiote in a whole new direction. But who? It could be the journalist, the terrorist, the sidekick, or even the mayor. We're giving you all the clues, good believers. Good believers. Al, do they do it differently in England?
Good believers.
True believers, Al.
Gross.
But you won't know until the mask comes off. Writer Al Ewing from Venom and the Immortal Thor takes Venom in a completely new direction with artist Carlos Gomez of the Fantastic Four and the Amazing Mary Jane, bringing the story to gorgeous life. Full disclosure, I didn't read a single page of Venom War, and I lost track of the previous series soon after Eddie Brock became a cosmic god or whatever that
I
was.
read the Venom War. You don't need to.
Okay.
You don't need to.
Fortunately, Al Ewing doesn't punish new readers too much and delivers a mostly fresh start. We open on the trial of Madame Mask. I thought it was hilarious how the prosecutor was trying so hard to use the public sphere of symbiotes against her.
Yeah.
And then getting called on it by the judge. Like, it's all in vogue now. Symbiotes did this. Symbiotes did that. And the prosecutor is like, well, what kind of deranged symbiote do we have here?
Yeah.
Madame Mask.
But like Madame Mask is not scary enough. We got to call her a
Right.
name.
Yeah. And then the judge is like, knock it off.
Yeah.
The mystery of the new Venom's identity is the focus of the issue. And we do get 4 compelling suspects. The problem is that the focus is never really on the main character. Yes, he's there. He's mixing it up with AIM henchmen, but his banter is of the generic superhero variety, and he doesn't display any new and interesting characteristics outside the change in color palette.
I would argue he's wearing boots, Joe, instead of having scary feet with claws.
Well, but that's how Venom used to look. He didn't always have scary feet with
In
claws.
your face, sir. All right.
I'm just saying.
But maybe that's a clue too. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it's a clue. He's got a
Maybe.
He's got a
You never know. You never know.
gold spider on his chest now, and Madame Mask wears a gold mask.
Yeah. It's a violent shift away from the otherworldly shenanigans of the previous volume, which won't bother new readers. But it's got to feel like too much of a course correction for established fans. I don't know. I would think it would give them whiplash.
I hope after the Venom War, they all just laid their heads down and went, okay, we're done here.
Sure. Ewing's script is clever as usual, but he is out of control with the bad puns in this issue. Out of control.
Yeah.
And if Robbie Robertson ends up being the new Venom, I will riot, because that is the dumbest bullshit I possibly imagine.
I don't think it's Robbie.
I don't think it's Robbie either.
We're going to call our shot at the end of this and keep track of it.
Oh, all right. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
We'll nerd bet it.
Yeah. Carlos Gomez's art is fantastic. His take on the new Venom is pretty cool. His fight scenes are very exciting. I liked the art quite a bit. I'm giving this a strong skim it, because for a book called All New Venom, this Venom didn't really look or act new enough for me. In fact,
I disagree.
it was like Venom light.
I
because-
absolutely disagree, because the Venom that we have been dealing with is definitely way darker, scarier, conflicted.
Yeah, I mean,
and this one is
sure. I mean, from the traditional
superhero.
interpretation of Venom is what I'm saying.
Well, sure, but this is full on superhero Venom, no question.
Yeah. No, I like this is very much in the vein of like a Lethal Protector era Venom.
Oh, even,
where he's like he's a good guy, but he's sort of a jerk.
Even beyond that, though, this Venom was more like Spider-Man. He was cracking jokes and like,
yeah,
this is Boy Scout Venom.
Let me rephrase then, I guess. There's nothing about the character so far that makes me excited about him being different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I guess I would argue that the mystery is
the mystery is
catch.
certainly compelling.
That is what we're doing. The mystery is the catch, not like it's who is in the suit.
I get it. And maybe once that mystery is resolved, I will feel a little bit more strongly about it. But right now I'm giving it a strong skim it. I thought it was good. It just didn't do enough to really sell me on it.
So I like the experiment that Al Ewing is doing here, and it's fun. He sets it up like suspect number 1, Rick Jones, like friend of the Hulk,
I like
whatever.
that.
Suspect number 2, Luke Cage, the mayor. Suspect 3, it's fun. There's a mystery. It has to be one of these 4 characters. Period. If it's not, that's terrible writing and not a mystery. That is a lie.
Right.
You have lied.
Yeah, you're right. It's a lie.
Right. So it's got to be one of them. And I think he pulled it off that mystery really well. This was way more fun than any Venom comic book I have read in the last, since Donny Cates left, quite honestly. This was way more fun than Al Ewing's previous run. And not as confusing. We're setting up a mystery. Don't worry about the Dark God Venom. Don't worry about the Venom War. It's over. Although there's a shitload of editorial boxes in here. There's like, that happened in Central Park during this issue of Venom War. Like, okay,
sure,
I get it. You're proud of the Venom War. That's fine. So I think
one word balloon had 2 different editors' notes attributed to it.
Fair. Yeah. I'm going to give this
because it was 1 asterisk and then 2 asterisks.
I'm going to give this a buy it because I think Al Ewing is taking a real chance here. It's a fun experiment. It does feel like an all new Venom to me. And I'm in to see which one of these 4 characters it is. It has to be Rick Jones.
If it's not Rick Jones, there's something wrong
but
with
here's the thing.
premise.
That's too obvious. It's too obvious. I'm saying it's Luke Cage. I'm saying that is Luke Cage in the Venom suit.
I think you're saying it's Luke Cage because you don't want it to be too obvious.
No, I think Al Ewing is smarter than that. I'm giving him credit. I think Rick is too obvious. But go with Rick. I'm going with Luke Cage.
It's Rick Jones.
Your call is Rick. I'm saying it's Luke. I'm giving this a buy it. I'm interested in this Venom and the mystery. I'm going to read more Venom comics. Can't remember the last time I've said that. I did like these AIM guys too. They were great.
The AIM guys were pretty good.
They were great.
Look, I'm not saying that it's a bad comic, and I totally think that a rating of buy it is valid. I just they hyped this up as being like Venom, unlike what we've had before, and I wanted him to be unlike what we'd had before. And
I argue they delivered that. This is very unlike the Venom we've had before, and I'm okay with that.
It's unlike the Venom we had immediately before, but not. We've seen this kind of Venom before.
I suppose. Well, we'll find out. Depends on who's in the suit. We'll find out.
It's Rick Jones, baby.
All right.
Check out our show notes over at twoheadednerd.com for more details on these comics. And while you're there, check out our written reviews too. Matt, before we rest our case, we each need to pick a comic for Macho to add to the THN permanent collection. What was the best thing you read in this pile?
I gotta go with this Juvenile #1 because I am just so blown away that this is like this self-trained dude is this friggin' good. It's early in his career and set up a great book. I'm going with Juvenile #1. I knew nothing about it and it blew me away. A lot of other stuff, great stuff. But you should be able to give me a good Two-Face. You should be able to give me a good Justice League. You should be able, you should be knocking this stuff out of the park, you guys. Okay.
You drive me crazy with that stuff. It's like saying that, yeah, you should be able to tell a good Justice League story doesn't take away from the fact that it was a really fucking good Justice League story.
I'm not saying it wasn't. But look, you got Mark Waid and 2 of the best artists in the business. Of course, this is going to be great. It was great. Yeah. But I've read.
So then why wouldn't that be the pick?
Because
is
I've
my
read
question.
lots of great first Justice
It's like
League
you're penalizing
comics.
it for being too good.
No, I'm not. Not at all.
I don't know. Whatever.
They
We've argued about this
They
before.
put the ball in the
It's silly
tee, and Mark
not-
Waid walked up and hit it, and they went, "It's a home run."
Look, it's Justice League Unlimited #1 for me because I'm simple.
You are.
I'm a simple man. It was my favorite book of the week. I can't wait for this series. I loved it.
It's time to head up to the THN Sanctum Sanctorum to make our must-read picks for next Wednesday, December 11th. Joe, I'm guessing you are all fired up for Monster High new Screamesters #4 after what happened to Draculara in Fear Leading Practice in issue 3.
Oh, after that cliffhanger, are you kidding me? My pick for next week, Matt, is actually Ultimate Universe 1 year in #1. It's a one-shot from Marvel Comics. It's written by Dennis Camp and Chris Condon, with art by Jonas Scharf and Alessandro Capuccio.
Like 1 year in. It's not an annual. It's 1 year in.
No. It's a special because the 1 year ticking clock is like the big point of the Ultimate Universe.
Okay, got you.
Covers by Rafael Albuquerque. It's 40 pages for $5.99. Here's your solicit. The clock is ticking down to the Maker's arrival. Dennis Camp flips the narrative on Ultimates and takes us inside the Maker's Council. The heroes of the Ultimate Universe aren't the only ones who have been preparing for the return of the Maker, and the clock is ticking down. This unique one-shot sets the stage for the second year of the Ultimate line and includes the debut of the Ultimate versions of 2 major Marvel characters. One of them is Nick Fury Sr. He's on the cover.
Is Wolverine?
It's a very Steranko-looking cover.
Is Wolverine popping up here?
Oh, maybe Wolverine. I don't know.
The Bucky Wolverine with the weird mask. I don't like.
Yeah, it's Wolverine. It's Wolverine, but he's
I don't need the mask.
a Winter Soldier-esque operative. I don't know if it's Wolverine, but it's definitely Nick Fury Sr.
I'll bet it's
He is
Wolverine.
on the cover.
My guess is Ultimate Wolverine.
Okay, thanks, Matt. I get it. You think it's Wolverine,
Yeah.
but Nick Fury is on the cover is my point. And it looks very S.H.I.E.L.D. like, but the name of the organization isn't S.H.I.E.L.D. It's like hand or something weird because the logo is a hand. I don't remember the name of the organization, but it's different. It's
Fist.
it's like S.H.I.E.L.D., but not.
Okay.
The Ultimate line in general has been fantastic. I know not everybody loves every book, but I think by and large it is a success. Ultimates by far for me is the best of the bunch, and that is saying something considering one of them is a Hickman book.
It's the best one.
But Ultimates is great. This week there was another great new issue. Like I'm very excited to see this whole thing with the Maker and the whole him being like imprisoned for a year or 18 months or whatever it was, and it's almost down to the wire. And now we're going to see what was going on with the villains.
I'm very happy for Dennis Camp because I feel like we knew this was a very talented guy and they just needed to find the right project for him where he can settle in and start nailing it. That's not to say that, like, he was writing crap, but for a while there was like, I thought this guy was better than this, and maybe he was just getting kicked around, but he's definitely settled in, and it's very good.
I mean, I don't want to speak ill of anything he wrote in the past, but I will say that Ultimates impressed me in a way that his other work maybe didn't. Chris Condon, this is another high profile assignment for Chris Condon as well.
Super talented guy. My pick
His first issue of Green Arrow came out last week, and it was fantastic.
It looked great. My pick for next week is Batman Dark Patterns, #1 from DC. It's written by Dan Waters with art by Hayden Sherman.
Hayden Sherman, knock it off before you burn out.
I'll tell you what, 32 pages for $4.99. Here's your solicit. Set during the early years of Batman's career, Batman Dark Patterns delves into 4 mysterious cases as he attempts to cement his place as Gotham City's protector, while the city itself fights back against him. This is the Dark Knight detective at his most stripped down core. I mean, I thought that was absolute Batman, but whatever. A man relying on his wits, his skills, and little else as he tackles some of the most twisted mysteries Gotham City and its protector have ever encountered.
I mean, I don't know. Absolute Batman has a skyscraper-sized dump truck.
No, I know, but they're like,
how stripped down
when
can
you
be?
strip away the money and the whatever, you're left with
Sure,
absolute whatever. I love this creative team. And check out the preview in this week's Two-Face #1.
Yeah, it was
If you
good.
see it, it's really good.
Hayden Sherman's Batman is good.
Yes, and Waters and Sherman both were working on backups in Detective. I don't think they did them together, but they both worked on separate backups that were really
During
really
the
good.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Hayden Sherman is an incredible artist. Go check out his Wasted Space book at Vault and Above Snakes from Image. You will see.
And The Few, also from Image.
The Few. And you will see why we cannot stop squealing about this dude. He's so good. I'm really excited for this.
I mean, there's also Absolute Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
If you want a brand new example.
He's literally like everywhere. That's why I'm forgetting stuff. Hayden Sherman has done like 15 books this year. It's crazy.
The guy can't be stopped.
No.
Before we inflate the condition of this issue only to have the eBay buyer send it back and give us negative feedback, we got time for a quick preview of our Patreon Extra. When you become a patron for as little as $1 a month, you can get full access to all kinds of extra THN content, just like this.
Welcome to your THN Extra for this episode. Loyal listeners will know we recently covered Batman Nightfall with the newly reassembled Night Nerds team as part of our Holiday Extravaganza Part 1. Part 2, we'll be covering the second part of Nightfall. Last year, we were the Super Buddies, and we covered the...
We were the Super Squad.
Pardon me,
we were
Super
the
Squad.
Slack Issue Super Squad.
I wanted to be
and
Super
it took
Buddies.
us 2 years.
Yeah, because that one was huge. But we covered the death of Superman, and in doing so, we came up with a new question of the week about superhero beatdowns, our favorite superhero beatdowns. These are probably the two most famous superhero beatdowns out there.
It's true,
question.
but they haven't heard the question of the week yet because this comes before that in the episode.
I mean, doesn't matter.
It is available on the Discord, though.
It'll be fine.
I'm just saying.
So we decided to review the matches, old school wrestling style. And you go back and watch legendary matches and just talk through it real quick. Who had the bigger beatdown? And I don't want to hear any of this. Yeah, but Superman died. Okay, whatever. It's not about the ramifications of what happened. It's about the fight.
Sometimes fighters die.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. So let's get into it.
We'll
Joe
mention
Packer.
that in the result. Don't worry about it.
Let's start.
Since
Since we did Superman last year, let's start there. Then we'll recap the Batman fight. And then we'll decide who got beat down the worst. the most brutal beatdown.
One died. So
I just said we weren't going to do that. The point is,
we mentioned it in the results.
Everything
though,
that goes
it's
into
kind
it.
of hard to get around it.
Everything that goes into it.
The storyline is called "The Death of Superman."
I get it.
All right, let's get into it. Superman versus Doomsday. Here's a little background. Doomsday is a savage engine of destruction, a murderous force of nature that escapes from its underground prison. It might have a gender. It's hard to say. It was a baby at some point, but we'll get into that. It doesn't matter.
Doomsday is Doomsday.
Doomsday is Doomsday.
Didn't we find some race of aliens like this?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll get to that. So Doomsday escapes from his underground prison and begins a violent march across the United States. Starts in Ohio and then just starts walking east. When the Justice League proves unable to stop it, Superman steps in and ends up making the ultimate sacrifice to stop Doomsday's rampage. Now, what we don't learn until later is that Doomsday is an ancient creature genetically engineered on prehistoric Krypton to evolve past the point of death and be reborn again and again, stronger than ever. Now, so originally, Doomsday was just a normal alien baby. Where he came from, I can't say. I don't know. But the laboratory that the scientist and his crew set up was on Krypton before the emergence of intelligent life. Like there were like creatures and stuff, but it was inhospitable. It wasn't the Krypton we know. And he spent centuries killing this kid over and over and over and having it evolve into the Doomsday we know today.
This is Doomsday's training.
Doomsday's training, right? Like imagine Ivan
This is his
Drago
training
punching
montage,
the punch
yeah.
robot
Yeah.
and having it dial up a number. That's what was going on.
This is his training montage.
So the venue, cross country. It starts in Ohio, ends up in Metropolis. Simple as that. The matchup, both fighters appear to be evenly matched for the most part, though it does seem to Superman as though Doomsday's strength increases as the battle wages on.
Okay, to be fair, does he kill Doomsday several times during this fight, or just like knock him out? 'Cause I don't remember Doomsday dying a bunch of times.
No, he doesn't.
So he's
But
just showing
there are
up.
moments in the fight where Doomsday seems to get stronger, and he makes a comment
Okay,
about
so
it.
but he's just showing up after being killed a bunch with a bunch of spikes on his body and shit.
When he shows up, he shows up in Metropolis after being, he shows up on Earth after being, he was imprisoned in Earth. His pod crashed on Earth. He had been imprisoned like eons ago.
Right.
And it just happened to crash land on Earth at some point, and that's where it lay dormant until he escaped. So, the fight. Doomsday trashes the entire Justice League with one arm literally tied behind its back.
Well, we also agreed this is the worst Justice League ever.
Well, it's not the worst Justice League ever, but it's certainly not the best Justice League ever.
No.
Excelsior!
That is it for THN 762. If you dig our new comic reviews, check them out on our YouTube channel, where you can subscribe to each show separately, where you can subscribe to our back issue show or our gang hang, or you can listen to them as podcasts on YouTube Music, or, during the day, you can just turn them on and turn the sound down and let them play. Get us some...
just let them run while you're working.
Get us some views. We'd appreciate it. It'd be great. Next week, the back issue show returns. If you need more THN before that, hit us up at the gang hang. I was just talking about it. We do it on Saturdays at 11 o'clock Central. Check out our Discord for details. All kinds of stuff to talk about this week. Creature Commandos, a new Star Wars show, more DC all-in stuff. There's all kinds of stuff to talk about. Come yell about it with us. Joe Patrick.
Oh, the series finale of Superman and Lois was this week, and I would love to discuss it.
Talk to Joe about it. I don't watch that fucking show. Joe, what else can they do at our Discord?
You're missing out. You can discuss the wrestling moves Daniel Warren Johnson drops into every issue of Transformers.
Shockwave recently performed a tombstone pile driver on Optimus Prime in issue 9. It was... I laughed out loud. It was so good.
Or you can grill Matt on why he's too much of a prude to watch Bridgerton.
Because I'll tell you why. Because I prefer my adult actors who are pretending to be teenagers having sex on the internet where they belong. I don't need the plot. Thank you.
Or maybe you just want to answer the question of the week. This week's question, in honor of our recent Nightfall show and this week's THN Extra, tease. What are your favorite superhero beatdowns? We're not just talking about fights here. We're looking for stories where the hero or heroes got their asses kicked.
Yeah. I was just talking about Daredevil, Innocenti's Daredevil, where Typhoid Mary and the gang beat up Matt for 4 issues. They beat the hell out of the guy.
Matt got beat up by the Hulk once and he lived.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. Please keep your question of the week suggestions coming. Thank you to those of you that submitted ideas in the past couple weeks. You can sign up for our Discord with the link at twoheadednerd.com/Discord. You can post about any of our segments there. And hey, if you don't dig on the Discord, that's fine. Send an MP3 submission for the Comic Pushers or for Ask a Nerd or for whatever to twoheadednerd@gmail.com. And we'll put you on the show.
Well, you know what? You could just send us an email too. It doesn't have to be an MP3. You can send us an email. That's fine. Old-fashioned, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want anybody to be any form, in any way you want to communicate with us.
Yeah.
Please do so. Just remember, the Worldwide Ziggurat has a strict no jerks allowed policy.
There will be one bastion of decency on this internet, and it will be the Worldwide Ziggurat. Okay.
Oh God, it's us. Oh
It's
no.
us, yeah. If you're new to the show and you got $200 on D-Man as the new Venom, I assure you it's a long shot. If it does pay off, I'll tell you what. But you're wrong, and you haven't heard enough. The good news is you can hear the entire run of THN in our digital long box archive at twoheadednerd.com. Isn't D-Man dead? Did he die?
No.
Oh, I thought he was dead. THN is a listener-supported podcast. It would not be possible without the generosity of donors like our patron and hero, Jay Mindman, who promises
Matt,
only to use his mind powers for good.
It's Mindeman, Matt. It's Mindeman, not Mindman.
Oh, well, that's not cool at all. All right. Well, if you like what you hear every week...
Whoa. Hey, real quick shout out to Jay. When I was unemployed, he found me on LinkedIn and sent me a very encouraging message. Thank you, Jay.
If you like what you hear every week, it's easy to support the show. You can sign up to be a patron at patreon.com/2headed nerd.
Jay, you're still cool. I just thought you had mind powers, and let's be real, that's way cooler.
You're a terrible friend, you know that? A very fair weather friend. Before we go, our weekly shout out goes to the Ziggurat's resident indie darling, Ian Mondrick, who just announced his next project, Stash Box. It's a suburban horror story written by Ian with art by German comic sensation Frederick Hornung.
Oh, neat.
Coming in 2025. You can get yourselves over to ianmondrick.com/contact and sign up today for more info. Word to you, Ian, and Vortundik to you, Frederick, which is word to you in German.
Oh, okay. I thought you really just insulted his wiener for a minute there.
Come on now.
Until next time, true believers. Remember to pre-order your comics or your retailer might just insult your German wiener. This is the Two-Headed Nerd signing off.
I'm proud of you. I left that softball floating in the air and you smashed it. Good job.
We had a joke about two Peters earlier. I know what I'm doing here. Come on.
This is episode 762. What do you think it is? Day 1?